There's a silent way of seeking approval that many people carry without realizing it. It's not a weakness. It's not vanity. It's a pattern the body learned long ago when being seen meant being confident. Perhaps you're the type of person who notices when someone stops commenting on something you say, or who memorizes, with almost surprising accuracy, every time someone has spoken well of you in public. Maybe you yourself can't explain why certain likes matter more than they should, or why a simple compliment from a stranger can completely change your day. This video isn't meant to judge you for that. Quite the opposite. There's a hidden superpower behind this that needs to be recognized. A quiet talent for perceiving people, for sensing the atmosphere, for knowing exactly when you are or are not welcome. And today we're going to explore that together, calmly, curiously, without labels. It'll be like looking in an old mirror and realizing that what you always saw as a flaw was actually a skill waiting to be understood. If any part of this behavior seems familiar to you, share it in the comments. This is a quiet space to recognize yourself and better understand your own superpowers. Your eyes automatically seek out faces that smile at you before any words are spoken. You walk into a place, it could be a party, a meeting, any waiting room, and before you even say hi to anyone, your eyes are already doing a silent job. They scan the room looking for an open face, a spontaneous smile, a wave that says without words, "You are welcome here." It happens too fast to be a conscious decision. It's almost automatic, like a radar that turns on by itself. Most people don't even realize they do it, but those who carry this pattern do. Because when a friendly face appears, the shoulder drops an inch, the breathing loosens a little, and the whole body says, "Okay, you can have it." And what happens when no such face appears? You can still notice it because a slight discomfort settles in your chest. Discreet, but real, as if the whole environment were slightly off. What appears to be shyness or insecurity is actually a highly refined form of emotional reading. Your internal system has learned to decode expressions before any words are even spoken. And that's rare. While most people enter a place and notice nothing, you've already mapped out who's comfortable, who's tense, and where you'll likely feel safest. This isn't neediness. This is perception. Your body visibly relaxes when someone speaks well of you in public. There's a very specific moment that those who experience this know well. Someone says something positive about you in front of other people. It could be at work, among friends, at a family gathering, and something in your body changes before you have time to process it mentally. The shoulder that was slightly raised drops. The jaw that was discreet but firm loosens. Even your breathing changes rhythm, as if your whole body exhales a relief it had been holding back without warning. It's not performance. It's not a disguised vanity. It's the internal system responding to information it considers vital. You are being seen, and what is being seen is good. The interesting thing is that this happens even when the compliment is simple. Almost, but she always solves everything. He never fails. It doesn't have to be a speech. Sometimes, a short phrase said sincerely is enough to organize something inside. What this pattern reveals is an emotional sensitivity far above average. Your body has learned to register validation as safety information, and this makes you extremely attentive to the tone of words, the weight of silences, and the real value of genuine recognition. You probably value it more than most when someone takes the time to praise you thoughtfully. And when you praise someone, you do so with an intention that few can imitate. You mentally revisit compliments you've received as if they were files saved in your heart. There's a silent library that some people carry inside. It's not about books nor music. It's for moments. Specific phrases someone said, the exact tone of voice, the expression on the speaker's face. "You were amazing today. I've never seen anyone do that so well. I'm glad you exist." Simple words that, for some reason that logic can't quite explain, have been engraved with impressive clarity, as if they had been saved in a special place inside you. On difficult days, when fatigue sets in, or insecurity creeps in, you unconsciously open this file. You remember a scene, a compliment, a moment when someone chose you or recognized you, and this acts as a subtle fuel. It's not a weakness to rely on this. It's emotional intelligence operating in a very particular way, using effective memory as an anchor. In moments when the ground seems less firm, The superpower behind this is the ability to transform connection into an internal resource. While many people let good moments slip through their memory without registering them, you keep them, you preserve them. And that means you also know better than most the real weight a carefully spoken word can have in another person's life. Those who possess this quality are usually people who praise with precision, who choose their words before speaking because they know exactly what they can do inside the listener. If you've noticed this way of reacting in yourself or someone close to you, right? This sounds like me. This helps this video reach more people who think and feel similarly. His posture changes in seconds when he realizes he's being watched by someone he admires. There's a very subtle, yet real, difference between how you occupy space when you're alone and how you occupy space when you realize someone important is watching. It's not pretending. It's not being fake. It's an almost involuntary reorganization, as if the body receives a silent signal and says, now it matters more. The chin lifts slightly. The spine lengthens subtly. The stride becomes slightly more deliberate. All this in a matter of seconds, without you having to consciously decide anything. This happens at work when the leader you respect enters the room. It happens at the gym when someone you admire is nearby. It even happens in casual conversation, when you realize the person on the other end is genuinely interested in what you have to say. The body responds to the gaze of others, as if calibrating its own value in real time, adjusting its presence according to who is in the audience. What appears to be a dependence on the judgment of others is, in fact, a rare ability to adapt presence and energy to the environment. You read the social weight of each situation with a precision that most people lack. You know when to expand, when to retreat, when to shine, and when to observe. This is a talent for emotional leadership that many never develop because they have never needed to be so attentive to the space they occupy in the world of others. You notice before everyone else when someone has stopped reacting to what you said. Most people talk and move on without looking back. Not you. There's something inside you that registers almost unconsciously when the expected response hasn't come. It might be a message that went unanswered for too long. It might be a joke that fell silent when it should have at least elicited a smile. It might be an idea you shared in a meeting that no one commented on, as if the words had evaporated into thin air before reaching anyone. You notice, you always notice. It's not paranoia. It's an extremely sensitive social reading system that has learned to use silence as data. While others go through these situations without registering anything, you process each absence of reaction as relevant information about the environment, about the relationship, about the moment. Your chest might tighten a little. Your mind starts revisiting what was said, searching for the exact point where something changed. All of this happens beneath the surface, invisible to those on the outside. The hidden superpower there is an extraordinary relational intelligence. You perceive changes in emotional temperature before they become visible problems. You sense when a friendship is cooling, when an environment is becoming hostile, when a relationship needs attention, before any words are spoken about it. This silent radar, which sometimes seems to cause you anxiety, is the same one that makes you extraordinarily present and caring towards the people you choose to keep close. His silence becomes more tense when a post takes a long time to receive a response. You post something. It could be a photo, a phrase, a small achievement that seemed big enough to share. And in the first few minutes, there's a waiting that the body knows well. It's not a tranquil wait, the kind where you post and forget. It's a wait with texture. The phone feels heavier. Your attention is divided between what you're doing and that notification that hasn't arrived yet. And the longer the silence lasts, the more your chest becomes slightly constricted, as if you were holding something you can't quite name. When the reactions start to appear, there's a real relief in it. It's not just vanity. It's as if the world has responded that you exist, that what you feel and experience has enough value to be noticed. And when the silence lasts longer than expected, the mind starts working on its own, reviewing what was posted, asking if it was good enough, if the timing was right, if something went wrong without you realizing it. All of this because of a lack of notification. What this pattern reveals goes far beyond social media addiction. It shows a deep, and completely human need to belong, to be seen, to have one's own existence confirmed by others. And those who carry this with such intensity are usually people with a very rich inner life, full of thoughts and feelings that deserve to be seen, but who haven't always found a safe space for that outside of screens. The digital world has become a bridge, and bridges exist because there's a side here that desperately wants to reach the other side. You have a habit of helping first those who are most likely to appreciate you later. It's not a cold calculation. It doesn't happen in a mental spreadsheet with numbers and probabilities. It's more subtle than that, more instinctive. When the opportunity to help someone arises, there's a silent screening that happens before the conscious decision. The body already knows, before the head processes it, who will likely recognize the gesture, who will remember, who will reciprocate, not necessarily with a favor, but with that look of genuine gratitude that is worth more than any material reward. And it's to that person that the energy flows first. This appears in simple, everyday situations. At work, you more readily offer help to those who usually speak well of your efforts. At home, you do more for those who show they've noticed. Among friends, you save your best selves for those who have proven they know how to receive. It's not disguised selfishness, it's protection. The body has learned over time that energy spent without emotional return leaves a different kind of tiredness, deeper and harder to recover from. The superpower behind this pattern is a very intelligent, emotional economy. You've learned to direct care with discernment, even without being taught how to do so. You know how to identify nurturing and draining relationships before they fully reveal themselves. And this protects you from a burnout that many overly generous people only realize when they are already empty inside. Caring with discernment is no less beautiful than caring for everyone equally. It's more honest and much more sustainable. Your heart subtly races when someone chooses you over others. There's a type of moment that seems small on the outside, but inside reverberates disproportionately. The professor who asks for your opinion in front of the class. The boss citing your name as an example in a crowded meeting. The friend who, having several options, chose you to tell you something important first. In that instant, something physical happens before any thought. The heart races at a touch, a kind of warmth rises discreetly in the chest, and for a few seconds, everything around seems slightly clearer, as if the focus of the scene had adjusted itself. This moment of being publicly chosen activates something very old within you. It's not fussiness. It's not a fragile ego needing attention. It's an internal system responding to one of the most fundamental needs that exist in human beings: to be seen, selected, considered relevant in a world that often passes over people without pausing. When someone stops, looks at you and says something with a gesture or a word, "You're the one I choose." Something that was slightly contracted inside loosened. What this pattern reveals is an enormous capacity to value genuine recognition and consequently to offer that same recognition to others with a care that few can replicate. Those who understand the weight of being chosen choose intentionally. You are probably the type of person who makes a point of making it clear to those who matter that they were chosen, not by shunsy, but consciously. And that is a rare gift in a world that rarely makes anyone feel that way. If this explanation has made something clearer about your way of being, comment. Now I understand better. Your participation strengthens this community of self-knowledge. You memorize with impressive precision. Every time you are truly recognized, ask most people what someone said nicely about them at a party 3 years ago. They'll shrug. Not you. Do you remember? Do you remember the almost exact phrase, the tone of voice, the facial expression, where you were, what you were wearing that day? Do you remember? Because that moment was registered on a different, deeper level, as if memory had recognized that it was important even before you could explain why. And that file doesn't disappear. It's kept with a silent care that most people don't even imagine exists. This selective memory of moments of recognition is no coincidence. The brain retains more clearly what the emotional system has marked as significant. And for those who carry this pattern, being genuinely recognized is such a rare and valuable event that the entire body collaborates to prevent it from slipping away. It's as if there's an internal vault reserved just for these moments, protected in a way that even bad memories can't access with the same ease. The superpower here is an extraordinary emotional memory that acts as an emotional compass. You can clearly revisit moments when you were truly seen, and this gives you a unique ability to understand what makes you feel good, who makes you feel good, and in which environments you can be most yourself. While many people live without knowing for sure what nourishes and what drains, you have a precise internal map built over time, made of memories cherished with a tenderness that only those who feel deeply are capable of having. His mind learned to transform external approval into internal fuel to keep going. At the heart of everything explored in this video, there's a central mechanism that ties all the others together. Your mind, over time, has developed a very specific skill, taking external recognition and transforming it into energy to move forward. A sincere compliment isn't just pleasant, it carries something. A public acknowledgement isn't just flattering, it replenishes a reserve that daily life gradually Approval for you was never a luxury. It was real fuel, used to keep going when fatigue set in and self-doubt arose. This system worked for a long time, and it still does. But those who reach a more mature point in this pattern begin to notice something curious. External fuel has a short shelf life. Today's praise loses its power tomorrow. Today's like won't resonate next week, and then the cycle begins again, always needing a new dose of recognition to keep the engine running. Not because you're weak or too dependent, but because nobody taught you back then that there was a source within you that doesn't depend on anyone else to ignite it. The greatest hidden superpower in this whole pattern is precisely this. Those who have learned to thrive through the recognition of others possess an enormous latent capacity to learn because their gaze is already trained, their sensitivity is already developed, their emotional memory is already active. All that's missing is directing all of that inward. And when that happens, when the approval you've always sought from others begins to spring from within yourself, the fuel never runs out. It renews itself silently every time you act in accordance with who you truly are. Throughout this video, we explored something that many people carry without ever having stopped to look at it head on. This silent search to be seen, recognized, chosen. This radar that notices absences before any word is spoken. This memory that treasures compliments. All of this is not a personality flaw. It's a specific way that your emotional system is found to navigate a world that doesn't always stop to truly see people. And the most important takeaway from this video isn't a diagnosis. It isn't a label. It isn't a list of things to fix about yourself. What remains is an invitation to look at your own patterns with the same gentle curiosity with which you look at the people you love. Because your superpowers aren't despite your personality. They're exactly within you, just waiting to be recognized by yourself. Have you ever noticed this type of behavior in yourself or someone you care about? Share your experience in the comments. Sometimes just reading similar stories makes us feel much less alone. If you enjoy content that reveals the hidden superpowers in your personality, subscribe to the channel. Here, we look at common daily habits with a calmer, deeper, and more human perspective.